Hey everyone, welcome to QT Rockstar. I got called to go on tonight, and hope y'all can hear me okay. Messing with the volume. Okay. Um, yeah, I was told to go on earlier than I usually do, and I really got called to work with shadow energy that's coming up for all of us post lunar eclipse in Cancer. Um, And oh my goodness. Uh, this weekend was really interesting. There was a lot going on with planets, especially Sunday, especially yesterday. Today is Monday the 13th. So yesterday on the 12th. Sunday was, oh gosh, it began with a really active Mercury. It was really restless, really aggressive. And uh, what I saw was happening was the shadow of the masculine as well as the shadow of the feminine were really coming out to play. You know, and I would say that the shadow of the masculine would be toxic masculinity, the shadow of the feminine being toxic femininity. We talk a lot about toxic masculinity in our culture, and a lot of that is because it's understandable. We live in a patriarchy. The toxic masculinity is super exposed. Just that shadow side of the masculine is super present very often. um, oh gosh, yeah, I could go on and on about that, but I'll keep it short. So what they wanted me to do though was to just kind of to mention that that the shadow is coming out on all fronts. And of course, thinking about the divine feminine and the divine masculine is a very binary idea. So really it's really just like an all gendered and all energy shadow coming out to play. So yeah, I really got called to um, to do the reading specifically on shadow work for our community, um, and yeah, it's really interesting today. So on Monday, the 13th, January 13th, Venus moved into Pisces, which I love. It brought some, and that's really bringing in some softness, sensitivity, wisdom, and currently Mars is in a fire sign. It's in Sagittarius. So it's really interesting right now having Venus in a water sign in Pisces and Mars in Sagittarius. It's bringing up some really interesting stuff, and that combined with what all that was going on Sunday. Because on Sunday, January 12th, Pluto was facing off with Saturn. And this happens every 35 years or so. And when it happens, something deeply embedded in our culture, our cultural traditions, which is kind of represented by Saturn, goes through a process of death and rebirth, and the death and rebirth being represented by Pluto, which is really, really good news. I'm very excited about this. This is going to be great. This is good news for any oppressed communities. Really, really great for my LGBTQIA plus community. I'm very excited about this. But I did want to kind of just talk a little bit about this, give you all a background, because there was a lot that came up yesterday on Sunday, and I was just feeling, I got very clear messages from my guides to keep a very low profile over the weekend, especially on Sunday, because I was just seeing a lot of people were just, uh, like with the toxic masculinity as well as the toxic femininity coming out to play, especially on Sunday. we just had there was a lot of aggression, a lot of passive aggression. It was very active of time, a very active time. Some of you may have had some dreams where there was like some sort of racing. Maybe you were flying. Just the energy was really, really active, um, and you know, I just was seeing a lot of folks, and when I say seeing, not like in this realm, but just kind of like seeing in terms of like a universal pattern, um, which I guess is part of this realm, but meaning like I'm not actually witnessing because I was keeping very low profile, but I was just the guides were showing me what was kind of going on universally, and what I was seeing was a lot of folks uh, getting into a lot of arguments. And what I saw, I saw what the benefit of this was that a lot of stuff that was being hidden was coming to light for a lot of folks. So I saw y'all like getting into it with either family or friends or partners, um, just like loved ones, or even, and then also strangers and people you don't care for. Just there's a lot of aggression out. And I think the benefit of this, yeah, like like I said, is it's the uncovering, and that's something that that was really great about. Well, that's really great about eclipse season is that um, it really it demands that we're willing to shed our armor, revealing more of ourselves. So I could just feel with the post eclipse energy, whatever else needed to kind of escape, there was almost like an aggressive push through, like pushing through. It was like, oh, I got to shed this extra thing. I got to like say this thing to this person. And it felt very rushed. And very like, yeah, aggressive. Um, and something I've had to come to terms with just in my own personal life with when it comes to aggression is because I think for a long time I really grouped all types of aggression with toxic masculinity, but really when you look at the term aggression, there's kind of like big A aggression, and then there's also like small a aggression. And sometimes the small a aggression is really just us setting boundaries and being like really straightforward about what we will and will not tolerate, which is our right as humans to really assert ourselves. Um, yeah, and for any of my queer and trans folks, um, that haven't really been able to assert yourselves in your identity, in your friendships, in various relationships, romantic relationships, family of origin relationships, work relationships, um, in your life. uh, I really felt people like coming coming out to really, I felt that assertion coming through, which is pretty exciting. And I could also feel that there was some shame spiraling happening, some guilt that was coming up as a result of the assertion, because for quite a few folks, it looked like it was sort of a thing of like, I can't take this anymore. And it felt like an explosion. And then I think it's that thing of like, there are a lot of folks that were feeling some type of way about the way it came out and being really hard on yourself. So I just want to really affirm that whatever came out needed to come out. Of course, if there's stuff you got to clean up on your side of the street, please do that. I'm not saying that maybe apologies don't need to be made, because there's probably some apologies that need to be made for some folks that where it just if maybe there was some hurtful stuff that was said. but yeah, just I want to, and having said that, be really kind and compassionate with yourself for whatever you shed, whatever you let go of, however you asserted yourself, because this is really, really an incredible time to vocalize your boundaries, assert yourself, to be really action oriented with what you're thinking, how you're feeling, what you need to feel safe in relationship with in that includes both in relationship to ourselves and to others. um let's see, was there anything else I wanted to mention before I kind of just delved right in? Okay, the guys are saying that's good. I'm sure there's always something. It'll probably come up later. Can almost guarantee it. But yeah, okay, so before I kind of go into some readings, I want to do my little disclaimer. This is a safe space for LGBTQIA plus folks. And yeah, I'm going to do everything I can to honor this space and celebrate my queer and trans families, celebrate the LGBTQIA plus communities. All right. Okay, so calling in for this reading, let's call in the angels, calling in all angels, guides, healed queer and trans ancestors, healed LGBTQIA plus ancestors. Oh my gosh. Oh, what a beautiful group. Hey everyone. All right. So as usual, I'm going to start with the Slow Holler deck. Beautiful, beautiful deck. It is developed by queer folks. The imagery is gorgeous. It is gender neutral, and the imagery is super queer. Shuffle the deck. All right. Any messages for LGBTQIA plus folks as it relates to shadow work post eclipse? Any messages for the queer and trans collective? Oh, okay. Already got some cards flying. All right. Let's see. See what's happening. Oh, okay. Very, very interesting. All right. So right away we have the devil reversed and, excuse me, the 10 of vessels upright. And so vessels in this deck are cups in the traditional deck. So it's really that water element. And the devil upside reversed. Right away, what they're showing me as it relates to the devil reversed is couple things. One is Capricorn. So the devil imagery in the tarot deck also is the Capricorn energy. And so it makes sense that it's reversed because we're talking about shadow stuff today. And I've really been feeling, the shadow side of Capricorn has really been present. I'm sure a lot of y'all have been feeling it. And for any of you that have Capricorn in any major sign in your chart, maybe it's Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, maybe your North Node, something along those lines, you're probably really feeling a lot of the shadow side, especially come out, which is super healthy and wonderful because it's such a great time for healing when it's in the light. When it's funny talking about the shadow being in the light because they're often thought in a binary way of being opposite. But when the shadow side is really is really present, it's such a valuable time to really like sit with ourselves and to do a lot of work to do a lot of healing work. Um, and that's why we're here. We're here to heal ourselves. We're here to grow and evolve. So it's really a gift. Um, yeah, it's really a gift whenever we get to confront our shadow. Our shadow. All right. So with the devil reversed, inhibition, terror of your unruly desires, a bad habit at risk of sliding into an addiction or obsession, shaking out the skeletons from your closet, seek balance and groundedness to break free from what blinds you. You know, this is really interesting because I've been seeing this happen a lot where I'm trying to think how to articulate this. Something they were showing me is a lot of how a lot of what our identities are wrapped up into isn't isn't all of us. They're really wanting me to give this message. Um, and when the addiction or obsession came up, they're just wanting me to speak to this a little bit. Just trying to figure out how to articulate it. Um, help me out, guides. help me with this. Um, it's funny I speak to this because, here this is a channel that is dedicated to the queer collective, the trans collective, the LGBTQIA plus collective, which is, a super labely thing, and I think it's sort of like I just, and I really struggled with how to label this channel because I knew I wanted to cater to the queer community and give myself over to the queer community and the collective to to really just to celebrate and honor that this space for my queer family, for my trans family, for my rainbow family. And I also I wanted to do this, and I was also really struggling with the labeling involved with that because I know a lot of folks feel that they are part of community but don't want to label themselves, and the beautiful thing is you don't have to. But so having said that, this little disclaimer, um, what they're showing me is that a lot of y'all have labeled yourself a certain way, and and this is outside of any queer, trans, LGBTQIA plus labels. Um, but just other ways in your life that you've really said, like, this is who I am. And not all of it is truth. Some of you have labeled yourself as having certain addictions um, that aren't actually true. That's what they're showing me. And this isn't true for everyone. Okay, so forever this message is intended for, whatever group that, do you get what I'm saying? Like, some of you have put this label on yourself out of fear, and a lot of it feels um, like there's this like outward pressure that you've really internalized. And that you're afraid of your desires, and so you've labeled it a certain way, like, for example, maybe like sex addiction. Now there are folks where that label is really true for them. You know, sex and love has taken over their lives where they can't function normally, and it's just they've become all consumed. But for some folks, it's just a cycle. It's like I guess I want to. Okay, they wanted me to talk about this. Um, some of this, like for some of you that have, say, like a regular porn addiction, I'm feeling a lot of you have labeled it as really like bad, or like that you're that it means something about you, or that you're, like, for example, addicted to porn. I'm just using this as one example because that's what they're showing me. Um, but not all of you are actually truly addicted. Um, for a lot of folks have been using it just as a tool to ground. Um, you know, through for a lot of folks can actually realign their chakras after orgasm. So for a lot of you, it's a way to align, it's a way to ground. It doesn't make you some monster. It doesn't make you some like porn obsessed creep. Because that's what they're showing me. They're showing me that some of y'all have really put this label of like being addicted to certain things. For some folks, you've put the label on yourself that you're addicted to food, um, when really it's just not the case. And again, I want to be clear, this isn't true for everyone, but just for some folks, what they're wanting you to do is really to investigate these things you've labeled yourself, and if it's really coming from you, or if it's something that you've internalized, something that's actually other. For example, like, you know, internalized homophobia, internalized homophobia, internalized transphobia, internalized racism, internalized fat phobia, internalized Islamophobia. I could go on and on and on. All the internalized things. It's not really coming from spirit. It's not really us. It's this thing that's been conditioned into us. Um, that's really other. It's really other. It's not really us. Um, so whatever, if that resonates for any of y'all, they just they want you to shed some light on they just really want you to inquire further, instead of, because it's this thing of like, maybe you've always labeled yourself a certain way, or maybe this has been for a long time, but maybe it's not actually true for you. So they really want you to, yeah, just really investigate these labels that you've given yourself. And some of you will find that, yeah, this is true. This is actually true. This feels grounded in something that is my essence. And for some of y'all, you might feel like with some of the labels, it's like, no, this isn't me. I took this intuitive eating course when I was at university, and it just, whew, it blew my mind in a beautiful way. It was really based off of the health at every size model. Excuse me. And one of the things that came up was like, our professor was using this example of a cis woman who had always said that she has such a sweet tooth, that she has a sweet tooth. But but then she realized, I don't actually have a sweet tooth. It was because my mom or my grandma or whoever it was, or maybe my dad, my stepdad, whatever, whoever the family of origin person was, kept saying to her when she was a kid, you're a sweet tooth, you're a sweet tooth, you have such a sweet tooth. But then she really thought about it. She was like, do I though? Is that label actually correct? And she realized, like, I don't really like sweets. But someone gave her this label as a kid, and then, you know, she held on to it for years and years and years. And all of us do that because just because of the conditioning. So, yeah, just really investigate all these labels that we have for ourselves and decipher what is true, what actually fits, what feels like, yeah, this is me, and what doesn't. And whatever doesn't, I will say, whatever does, more power to you, embrace it. Um, yeah, and then whatever doesn't fit, let it go. Just let that shit go. Um, yeah, because this is the time that we are shedding our armor, becoming more of who we really are. Um, see anything else with that? Okay, they're wanting me to still focus on this card. Um, okay, the other thing with this is, again, the theme of what we're doing makes sense, the shadow work. Um, they're really wanting you to spend time with whatever secrets, whatever things that you're holding on to um, that are bringing up a lot of shame, a lot of guilt, a lot of feelings that, that you're not worthy or not enough, or that you're not whole, that there's some illusion of a void. Um, we know this is all false because every single person is enough, worthy, whole. Um, and really, it's one of the products, unfortunately, of capitalism that really spreads this message that we're not enough and we're not whole as we are, so that we'll buy a bunch of shit to make us whole. And it's just simply not true. I mean, ads are really effective for a reason. They really play uh, on these just basic, on just the human condition, these very human insecurities and desires. Just please, yeah. So, whatever narrative that you have about whatever this thing that you're holding on to, whatever this shameful thing is, or things, whatever these shameful things are that you're holding on to, it doesn't mean anything about you as a person. It doesn't mean that you're no less worthy, you're no less lovable, you're no less deserving. So if it feels safe, because I know, our community, there's a huge trauma history that most of us carry. Um, so if there's anything during this time that feels like you have capacity to examine, um, it's a really good time to let go of these things that we're holding on to that are bringing up a lot of shame and a lot of guilt and a lot of feelings um, of like that, like we're like that you're like somehow a bad person because of whatever this thing is, because it's just simply not true. Yeah. And just, to just kind of to align yourself with spirit, and be able to have sort of a bird's eye view of like of that, you're whole, you're love, you're enough, um, you're divine. Yeah, whatever the ego is holding on to, trying to tell you that um, that you're not those beautiful things that you actually are. Yeah, it's just a really good time to shake the skeletons from the closet. um, to ground, just, to when doing this work, it's really, really important that we ground ourselves to the earth. So we don't kind of like fly away with whatever the stuff that we're shaking free from ourselves. Um, wow, interesting. They still want me to focus on this card. I guess because it's the shadow work. This is the shadow work, of course. I ask for what cards about the shadow work, and they give me a shadow work card. Yeah, they want me to oh gosh, what's the word? Essentially to repeat this notion too of like of for anyone out there that especially has Capricorn in any of your major signs, Sun, Moon, or excuse me, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North Node, Mars, Saturn. Yeah, to really to especially use this time to do your work, to do your shadow work. And this is your time, Capricorn. We're in Capricorn season. It is your season. Hmm. And just, they want me to reiterate that while you're doing this work, to give yourself so much compassion. This is what the whole eclipse has brought up, because the readings like I've been giving pre-eclipse, during the eclipse, post-eclipse, all centered around uh, grounding, hydrating, feeling your feelings, and being super compassionate with yourselves. And that's still present. We're still in this time frame. They're really wanting you to be extra compassionate with yourself, because yeah, there's a lot of narratives getting brought up about who you are as a person, um, or what certain things mean about you, what certain desires mean about you, what maybe some past actions mean about you, what some thoughts mean about you. That stuff, it's not you. That's not actually you. That's not actually your essence. Just part of being a human being. So yeah, just really embrace your humanness, and align yourself with spirit, and give yourself the benefit of having more of a bird's eye view on what's actually going on, having more compassion for yourself, and letting go of a lot of shame. A lot of shame. There's so much shame. I get it. Oh, it makes sense. There's a lot of shame, especially in our communities, our LGBTQIA plus communities. And the sad bit is, the interesting thing about shame is shame cannot exist without the presence of the other. So really, the shame that we feel, it has absolutely nothing to do with us. It's this response that we're feeling in the presence of whatever this other is signifying, whatever this other is saying, whatever the actions of the other is. And, of course, like obviously, historically, there's been so much hate and oppression in our communities, towards our communities. Um, but yeah, Spirit just really wants you. Spirit really wants you to let go of whatever shame that you're holding on to, because It's not yours. It's like this little it almost feels like a microchip or something that's been like, gosh, I'm gonna sound like a conspiracy person, but it's very other. It's very like it's a foreign thing that's been like implanted in our system that needs to like get out because it's not actually emanating from our essence. It's not who we are. Yeah. Yeah. And I know, easier said than done to let go of years and years of piled up shame. Trust me, I know. I feel like it's my lifelong work to release my own personal shame. That again is not mine. It's not mine. But I will say with certainty that whenever I am aligned with spirit, that shame can't exist. There's no room for it. There's absolutely no room for it. So the more you can ground, the more you can align yourself with spirit, the more you can let go of whatever shame you're holding on to. And the other thing, they want me to mention is whatever we're holding on to, it's because it is actually serving a purpose for us. Now, that purpose may not always be productive, it may not always be beneficial to us. But we're holding on to it because it's serving some sort of function for us. Otherwise, we wouldn't let it stick around. For some of us, it's this belief that if we somehow don't carry around shame or guilt, that we're like bad people, that will like feel too good, and then we'll be like automatically bad, which is absurd. Again, it's just kind of more like cultural conditioning, kind of like the conditioning around humility. Like, don't actively love yourself because then you'll be a cocky asshole and everyone will hate you. And it's simply not true because it's like we conflate loving ourselves with narcissism, and they're actually very, very different things. Because narcissism is usually born in response to shame and trauma. And narcissism is really about believing that who you are at your core is bad. That just the essence of who you are, no good, not lovable, not enough. And so it's really just focusing the attention to this outer shell. It's the split that occurs, just like how there's usually some split that occurs with trauma. For some folks, it takes on the form of narcissism. And it's really this idea of like, I need to make this outside shell as lovable, as beautiful, as desirable as possible, so that no one then, can look deeper and actually find out I'm a total fraud. I'm like, I think I hate myself. I don't think I'm worthy. Whatever the narrative is. So really deeply loving yourself, it has nothing to do with narcissism, because loving yourself is loving the core of who you are. And it's not, and the core of who you are is in alignment with your higher self. It's in alignment with spirit. Yeah. Oh gosh. Okay. They're saying I can move on to the Ten of Vessels. Hopefully that was there was a lot that came up with that double reversed card. Hopefully that was beneficial to some of y'all, whatever messages that were being channeled. But yeah, just ground, be super compassionate with yourself. And remember that you are not your shame. The essence of who you are. It's in alignment with spirit. It's love. It's the universal love. Okay. 10 of Vessels, it's interesting because what they're showing me is it's just the post eclipse in Cancer, that water energy coming through. Okay, so for the 10 of Vessels, whether it arrives as rain to make the flowers grow, is used to make your favorite tea, or is drawn from a faucet for a healing bath, more bath coming through. Water is necessary in whatever form it form it comes, and so are you. Take joy in the abundance dripping around you. This is so funny. Gosh, I love the guides. I love the angels. I love the healed queer and trans ancestors. They're fabulous. This is what's so lovely about spirit, because this message kept coming through. And this makes sense. Okay. Yeah. Again, yeah, this is really a time right now. They really, really want you to hydrate. That keeps coming through. It's that eclipse energy. We're in the post eclipse, and that eclipse energy is still lingering rather, um, because of all the detoxing that we've been doing, all the shedding that we've been doing, to really like come to our essence, to who we really are. Gotta make sure that you're hydrating. um, it really is, it's moving through the stuff that we're detoxing, but to drink water is, it's like then we can really move this stuff out of our system. So for any of y'all that have ever had any kind of professional body work done, whether it be like massage, chiropractic care, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the word, acupuncture. um, whatever it is, any kind of body work, they usually tell you to hydrate, because all this stuff is getting released into our system, and we have to move it through. We got to move the toxins through our system. So please hydrate. And yeah, again, this came up with the last two readings as well. Again, the eclipse energy and all the detoxing and shedding. Excuse me. Baths, to soak in water, because one of the things is when we soak in water, it's another way of hydrating ourselves. The water is getting absorbed through our skin. It's helping us hydrate that way. Also, it's a really, what they're showing me is bath time feels like a really safe place to be able to kind of meditate on whatever it is that spirit is wanting you to kind of re-examine, whether it's these labels that we've created for ourselves that aren't actually ours, that we don't actually feel truly describe who we are, right? Whether it's this shame that we're holding on to, whatever narratives we're holding on to that really aren't us. Being in water, in a water element, this is okay. This is such a good time to do it, especially with Venus being in, oh, Pisces. Sweet, sweet, loving, caring, sensitive Pisces. Wise Pisces too. Oh, Pisces. We start the zodiac with Aries, and we end the zodiac with Pisces. And Pisces is the oldest of the signs. It's an incredibly wise sign. This is such a great time to to be on a date with yourself and have some bath time and sit with um, sit with whatever is coming up, whatever narratives are coming up, whatever feelings are coming up, whatever we're holding on to, and really using discernment to decide to see if it holds, if it feels true or not, whatever this is, whatever's coming up. Okay, they're saying that that's the message. All right, so it was the Devil reversed and the Ten of Vessels, or the Ten of Cups with traditional tarot decks. Yeah, make sure. Oh, please hydrate. Please hydrate. Take a bath. I've mentioned this in another video. That if you don't have access to a bathtub, if you know a friend that has a bathtub, please ask your friend if you can use their bath. Use their bathtub. They'll likely say yes. It's such a for us that have bathtubs, we know how important that time is. Because yeah, they want it to be and again, this message came through in one of the last videos too. They want it to be a more private experience, um, just more kind of so that you can have a space where you can really feel your feelings, and so it feels more of a safe place than maybe say like a community bath um, kind of setting. Uh, so yeah, bath time is be really, really helpful during this time. Okay, they don't want me to do any more of slow holler deck. They want me to move on to the Prism Oracle deck. All right. All righty. Any messages for my queer and trans fam, for my LGBTQIA plus family post eclipse? Any messages? Shadow work. Oh, okay, we got a card right away. Fear upright. Perfect. Oh, and nourish. Oh, these are lovely. Okay, they're saying no more. Okay. So with this Prism Oracle deck, I absolutely love it. It's about exploring the language and emotion of color. So each card, like it's a rainbow of colors, which is so fitting for my rainbow family, all my queers out there. Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful deck. I really love it. And it's a very kind of just simple and straightforward deck. So it's kind of nice when you're kind of just wanting the essence of something as opposed to, I don't know, something kind of heavier. But don't get me wrong, I love the heavy. I love the. I love traditional tarot decks, but yeah, it's just for whatever mood. But yeah, they wanted me to. Okay, so fear. They wanted me to draw from this deck, or read from this deck. So with the fear card, it's the color black, which is the absence of color, is most often associated with fear and death. It correlates with power, elegance, and coolness. And with the fear card specifically, saying when we're feeling scared, our brain and ego do whatever they need to keep us safe and out of the situation that we are fearful of. But sometimes being safe doesn't necessarily equate to moving forward and living the life that we want to. When you're feeling scared, it's just your brain trying to keep you safe. Sometimes what your brain is telling you isn't real. Oh, I love the guides. What is real is what you are aiming to do in life. Don't let your fear hold you back. So again, this is again, it's all related. This is just, yeah, more of the message of not being scared to do that shadow work and to sit with whatever thoughts and feelings and shame and secrets we've been holding on to, whatever stuff is coming up for us. Okay, they wanted me to share this. Now, when I say secrets, I understand that some of you out there, you have to keep some secrets to keep you like safe, and I mean like just for survival, which totally. They're not talking about that. That's not what we're referencing when we're talking about secrets. This is more the secrets where we have the illusion of it meaning something about us being using it as a way to perpetuate the shame. That's really what it's speaking to. So with this shadow work, a lot of folks don't really aren't all that stoked about doing shadow work. I personally love it. I love really kind of getting in deep and dirty. And a lot of you like to get in deep and dirty. And wherever you fall on the spectrum, it doesn't even matter. I don't even know why I'm bringing it up. It doesn't really matter if you like it or you don't like it. The point is, um, the shadow work is so helpful for us. And so really just, embrace whatever is coming up for you, because again, this is a time of shedding. This is a time of letting go of these old false narratives, letting go of this shame we've been carrying. It's just really not serving us. And with having said all this, please don't allow this as an opportunity to build more shame on top of the pre-existing shame. So for example, to not then, have this narrative of like, oh, I feel shame that I've been holding on to this shame, or like that and it's like it's more of just feeding the beast. It's just more of the same. And remember, yeah, again, remember that shame, whatever that shame is that you're holding on to, it can't exist without the presence of the other. How it got embedded into you was because of how it related to the existence of the other. So it's really not you. It's not even about you. It's the stuff you've been holding on to it's not even you. And to have compassion for yourself for whatever reasons you've held on to it. Perhaps for a lot of us, it's for survival. We think that we need that shame to exist in order to be lovable for other people, to be lovable to ourselves, and just to have the awareness that it's just a false narrative. It's all false. It's not in alignment with spirit. And by aligning to spirit, you can really see and know that who you are is enough and lovable and worthy. And whatever you got to do to really believe that about yourself, maybe it's reciting, maybe it's like some mantra work, Oh, and with that, something I want to share. that show that when we frame things as you as opposed to I, we can hear it better, or we can kind of like integrate it better into our psyches. So maybe if the mantra is like I love myself, maybe shift it to you might have better luck by saying you love yourself, or even we love ourselves, ourselves. Um, but yeah, something about it's like we can something with our I don't remember what the research was or the science behind why that was the case, but I just remember that was the takeaway. Was like reframing these positive affirmations from I to you or to we, but something about you specifically was really helpful. So like you are enough, you are worthy, you are lovable, rather than I am enough, I am worthy. Something that we can more easily like make the change in our brain, create the new pathway in our brain when we use you language as opposed to I language. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, they're saying that's enough. Okay, so then with nourish is beautiful pink. I love this. This is more also of like, make sure you're taking care of yourself, make sure you're hydrating, being really compassionate with yourself, giving yourself all the love you deserve that you've been depriving yourself of, that you've been creating these like narratives around, that you're this like shameful human, this shameful person. It's just BS. It's not true. We gotta let it go. Gotta let it go. All right. So pink culturally is most associated with love and femininity. It is also tied to our physical bodies and has an overall calming effect on most people. All right, now I'm gonna argue with this. I don't know. I actually personally don't believe that pink is associated with femininity. I think currently culturally it seems to be, but I remember taking the sociology course where I remember like, and again, this is more of the binary, but like, so when you're looking at the boys and girls binary of like pink is for girls and blue is for boys, which obviously we all know is made up bullshit, and it's not based on anything real. But what's kind of interesting is years and years ago those colors were reversed. It used to be that pink was for boys and blue was for girls. And again, it's just all made up bullshit. And gender is all made up bullshit. We know this. Gender isn't even a real thing. So I just want to kind of like, I'll get off my soapbox or whatever, but I just want to kind of like affirm that I don't agree with that pink is specific to femininity, because it's for all souls, regardless of femininity or masculinity. All right. So then, let's see, what was it? It was nourish, right? Nourish. Okay, nourishment can consist of many things. It can be food and water. It can also be looking at art, hanging out with friends, or whatever you find to be personally nourishing. Look at the areas of your life that can be more nourished. How can you enrich those areas? Yeah, I mean, it's just like, it's more of the same message. With all of this examining that we're doing into who we are, what our essence is, make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Make sure that you're nourishing your soul. Make sure you're nourishing your body. Make sure you're nourishing your brain, your mind. Take good care of yourself. Love yourself. You're worthy. You're worthy of that love. You know this. This isn't news. You just got to believe it. I can hear some of you are like, I believe it. I do love myself. Oh, more power to you. I love that. And I believe it. Um, yeah. Just, yeah, really, really own it. Own it. Own who you are. Love who you are. Celebrate who you are. Okay. They want me to move on to the dragon deck. It's funny, they had me use this deck last time too. Because I don't work with this deck very often. But yeah, these last two readings, they wanted me to use it. So it's the Dragon Oracle deck, and it's by Diana Cooper. Okay, any messages as it relates to shadow work from my LGBTQIA plus community? Oh, okay. Ah, got this last time too. The water dragon. It's always, I love the guides so much. It's so interesting to me. Whatever messages come through, whatever the guides want me to focus on, whenever I get this like repeat of information, it's so affirming of like, okay, yeah, like this is the message you're wanting me to share. This is what the message you want the collective to know. So the water dragon helps you flow easily around obstacles, light and love are flowing, develop your psychic abilities, go with the flow. Again, it's like they just want you to hydrate. And as I'm saying that, I need to hydrate myself. Okay, one sec. That feels good. God, I love water. Okay. So yeah, wait, I'm not done. Sorry, one sec. Actually, not sorry. I refuse to apologize for hydrating. Some socialized female bullshit. Fuck the patriarchy. Fuck it. But God, I feel so good. I gotta tell you, with this Saturn, I know the thing that I mentioned earlier in this reading, the Saturn and Pluto facing off, and how it's whatever has been deeply embedded in our cultural tradition via Saturn, and like is going through this death and rebirth cycle via Pluto. I'm really feeling so fucking good about it, because it's really like it just feels like feels like feels like we're smashing that patriarchy, you know what I mean? Like, it feels so fucking good. I'm so tired of it, but we're really like, it's really good. Whatever this bullshit is, whatever this like cultural narrative is that's been this traditional narrative, it's getting defeated. And I'm so happy about it. Okay. Any other messages as it relates to shadow work? Oh, okay. Got a few that flew out. Ooh, oh my gosh, I love this. This is so stinking exciting. I love that I like swear and then I hold back. Like, I don't even know what that is. But I actually am trying to swear less, just so I can like get my point across without having to swear. But sometimes it just feels good. Sometimes it just feels good to swear. And I don't actually think there's anything wrong, but it's more like me not wanting to trigger others so that I can still get because spirit wants me to get this message across. So sometimes that creates a block for folks, and I want to do what I can to just like let the message just flow through. Okay. Deep blue lagoon, deep blue lagoon. Oh, lagoon. I don't know why I'm saying blue lagoon. Deep blue dragon. Okay, so we got, oh shoot, where did I put it? What was that last card? Ah, they're telling me not to worry about it. Y'all got the message. We all need to hydrate, take baths. Speaking of, I'm gonna drink some more water. Okay, I'm really not trying to turn this into an ASMR thing, especially for any of y'all there that have misophonia. I just really gotta hydrate. Okay. Deep Blue Lagoon. Or I keep saying that, but maybe that's relevant somehow. They're saying yeah, I don't know how. Deep Blue Dragon keeps you safe by clearing your pathway. Trust that you are protected. Walk on a path of light. This is so lovely. Okay, Spirit wants you to know that whatever is coming up for you in, gosh, I love the guides so much. Y'all are so wonderful. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you, angels. Thank you, healed ancestors. Okay, so Spirit wants you to know that whatever is coming up for you during this shadow work process, know that you are deeply protected. Know that Spirit has your back. And Spirit is keeping you safe as you're clearing the pathway, clearing whatever is present for you as it relates to your own personal shadow work. You are deeply safe, deeply protected by Spirit. So know that, trust in that, because it's Spirit is there for you. Spirit has your back. Okay, then we got Alpha Dragon reversed. I love this. They're showing me it's the toppling of the patriarchy. Yes, yes, yes. More of the Saturn and Pluto combo that's happening. Oh, I love this. I remember reading somewhere that the last time this happened, like this, like Saturn and Pluto going like facing off with each other, that was when this term when the term heteronormativity came to light. So it'll be really interesting to see what comes of this time in history. But it feels really good. It feels very needed. Yeah. Oh, this is really lovely. Hell yeah. Okay. The last card I've got for y'all is the Golden Dragon. The Golden Atlantean Dragon. Helps you remember the wisdom of Golden Atlantis. Awaken, bring back your knowledge, gifts, and talents. Reclaim your mastery. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What they're showing is that this is what awaits you. This is what is present for you. The you that you have always been. This golden Atlantean dragon energy. It's your essence. And with the wisdom that's coming through with Venus and Pisces right now. Yeah, reclaim yourself. They're saying reclaim yourself. Oh, that's really beautiful. Reclaim yourself. Yeah. Because as we're doing this shedding, this is what awaits us is who we already are, who our essence is. Without all the stuff that we've kind of littered like around us or like within us, like the stuff that isn't ours that we've held on to. It's not ours. We're letting it go. letting it go. Yeah. Okay. They're wanting me to go deeper into this. And this is actually, this feels really good. They're wanting me to go deeper into this card. All right. So, about the golden Atlantean dragon, the seventh dimensional golden Atlantean dragons hold the keys and codes of the awesome wisdom of golden Atlantis. Golden era of Atlantis lasted for 1500 years, and during this time, the people lived in harmony and happiness at the upper level of the fifth dimension. Humans, animals, and the land itself radiated a golden aura, and everyone enjoyed soul satisfaction. Oh, yes. Source energy powered the great crystal held in the Temple of Poseidon, which was the power source for the civilization. The awesome spiritual technology of Atlantis was activated by crystals and mind control. When we are ready to bring back our innate Atlantean knowledge and wisdom, golden Atlantean dragons will come to us and reactivate the gifts and talents and information held within our DNA. This card invites you to activate your own personal fifth dimensional blueprint, for it contains the light of the incredible era of golden Atlantis. The golden Atlantean dragon who has come to you now worked directly with all great masters of Atlantis during the Halcyon? Halcyon, maybe? Halcyon? Not sure. Days, and remembers exactly who you truly are. More of this shadow work. Prepare to reclaim your mastery. You are ready to dissolve the final veils of amnesia, and your dragon will assist you to do so. Okay, now I see why they want me to read from this guidebook, because they were telling me there's some messages that need to be highlighted. Let's see. Okay, so again, it's that thing of like, remember, like, this dragon archetype, this dragon figure, is really just source energy. It's spirit helping guide you to reclaim yourself. Okay. So again, it's more of the stuff of knowing that you are deeply safe and protected by source, by spirit. And it's spirit is helping guide you back to yourself. We're shedding all of this stuff that isn't ours, all the stuff we've been holding on to. This is the gifts of the shadow work. I'm so excited. I was a little nervous when spirit wanted me to talk about shadow work, because I was like, oh, I feel like a lot of people don't want to like really address their shadow. So like, but they were very clear. This is what they wanted me to focus on with y'all today. So now I'm seeing why. Anyway, let's see. Prepare to reclaim your mastery. You are ready to dissolve the final Oh, okay. Wait, we already mentioned that. Okay. So yeah, just again, letting go of this illusion, this whatever the stuff we're holding on to, the shame, false narratives, all of that. Your dragon will then remain with you and shine light into you as you prepare to stand in your power as an Atlantean master. Yes. Yes. Oh, I'm so stoked. Okay. Y'all, this is so exciting. How exciting is this? We are getting to go into 2020. We're getting to go into this new year. We're shedding all the stuff that isn't ours. And this is, assuming that you are actually doing your shadow work. We can't reap the rewards without doing the work. And some stuff will naturally shed without you even having to like do anything. But the more you can actually hold space for this process, the more you can put a mirror up to this shadow energy that is coming up for you, the more you can do the work and use spirit to help you let go of these false narratives, this shame, the stuff we're holding on to that isn't ours. The more we can do this, the more we are setting ourselves, the more we're coming back to who we truly are, and we're setting ourselves up for a kick-ass new year, setting ourselves for an incredible 2020. And you know, they're wanting me to tell you to find comfort in the discomfort. The shadow work is deeply uncomfortable. It's not comfortable. But the benefits are, oh my gosh, the benefits are so great. Yeah. Find, find comfort in the discomfort. I have to tell myself, I don't know if any of y'all practice yoga out there. I have to tell myself this every time I'm in half pigeon because they say like your hardest posture, your hardest asana, your hardest pose, make that your favorite pose, your favorite posture, your favorite asana, because like make it your friend because it's the one that like it's it's where the gifts are, it's where the growth lies, is the ones that are really the postures that are really hard and difficult for us. Same is true for the shadow work. You know, treat your shadow work like half pigeon. And some of y'all like are like it's so half pigeon is so easy for y'all. Like you're like, yeah, I've got these like flexible hip or I've got like my hip flexors are like can naturally do this. Mine cannot. I got tight hips and I hold a lot of emotions in my hips and I start to have a panic attack when I'm in half pigeon almost every single time. But I just tell myself, I just say, find comfort in the discomfort. Find comfort in the discomfort. And at some point, something happens where I relax into the posture. Again, the same is true for the shadow work. It's gonna feel uncomfortable at first. It's not gonna feel great. But the more you can relax into it, the more you can hold a mirror up to whatever is uncomfortable, whatever you're like avoiding, whatever you don't really want to examine, take ownership of. And when I say take ownership of, that doesn't mean, I don't mean it to mean that whatever the thing is that is present is actually yours, because most times it is not yours. Sometimes it is yours. But to kind of like, maybe take ownership isn't really the right way to phrase it, because it's like, to just examine and to let go of whatever you're holding on to that is no longer serving you. It served its purpose for whatever reason and stopped being beneficial to you. Now it's just taking up space. Just taking up space in place of where your essence could be filling up the space. Does that make sense? Yeah, this is really cool. We're dropping our armor. We're letting go of the stuff that isn't ours. We're letting go of the stuff that's no longer serving us. And we're allowing our true essence to just shine through and to be what takes up the space. And remember that healing, there's no final destination when it comes to, reminds me of that movie. I don't mean it that way. But do y'all remember that with, what's that kid's name? Siwa, what is Devin Siwa or something? I forget that kid's name. Anyway, total tangent. Remember that healing is, it's not a destination, it's a path that we take. And it's not linear, it's gonna be up and down. Just honor where you're at in the process. And please, please give yourself compassion, especially with the healing process. We don't need to layer on more shame about where we are in our own healing process. There's no timeline. There's no timeline. And there's no like for lack of a better term, final destination. I cannot help but think of that movie. I used to love that movie. I loved that movie so much. Um, yeah, there's no destination really with the healing. It's really just being actively involved in the healing process. It's a process. It's a practice. It's a practice. And some days it's gonna be easier than others to be in that healing mode, to see the benefits. Sometimes it feels like we're moving backwards, but really it's all part of the journey. It's all part of the path. So yeah, be super compassionate with yourself. Know that spirit loves you. Spirit is with you, keeping you safe, keeping you protected during this process that feels really unsafe and uncomfortable, and that we often feel alone and isolated in. Just know that you're not alone. You're not isolated. You have spirit. Spirit has your back. Source has your back. And I have your back too. I'm rooting for every single one of you. I'm rooting for myself too. I'm rooting for all of us. I'm rooting for our community. I'm rooting for humanity as a whole. This is a really exciting time. Let's collapse that patriarchy. Let's do our shadow work. Let's let our essence shine through. Let's be more of who we are. Let's own who we are. Be proud of who we are. And let's do the work. Let's do the work so that we can allow this all to happen. And that includes this really difficult shadow work. All right, my friends and fam, I love y'all so much. Thank you for watching / listening to this video. I'm grateful for each and every one of you. Please like and subscribe. And yeah, take good care of yourself. Be super compassionate with yourself during this time. Know that you're not alone. Spirit has your back. Always, always, always. And I'm just proud of y'all. I'm proud of y'all for doing your shadow work. You're doing it. And it's a really exciting time. All right, keep on shining. Keep shining. All right, I love y'all. I'll talk to you next time. Take good care. Take good care of yourself. Hydrate. Hydrate, hydrate. Nourish yourself. Remember that nourish card. Nourish your mind, body, and spirit. All right, bye, y'all.